Hey, this is Craig Ballantyne from TurbulenceTraining.com coming to you live, just kidding, from Riverside Park here in Toronto, Ontario. We got a great view of the city, we've got lots of hills, and what we're going to do in this special video just for you is talk about interval training. I'm going to show you some of my favorite ways of doing it, I'm going to explain some of the methods that we use, and we're also going to cover the most important warm-up aspects to get you ready for interval training. So we're going to show you some amazing interval training for fat loss techniques here in this beautiful park in Toronto. Alright, so in this interval training special video, what we're going to do is go over the warm-up, then we're going to talk about beginner interval training, then we're going to share with you the proper way to measure your intensity level in interval training, and we'll finish off with 3 to 5 really cool ways of doing interval training just out in the park and having fun, okay? So that's what we're going to do in this video. So we're going to start with the warm-up aspect. Now, if you're just doing a regular turbulence training program and you've already done the resistance training, you don't have to do as much of a warm-up, okay? You just really need to go into some specific warm-ups intervals. So if you're going to do some sprinting, you might want to run a couple at 50%, 75%. But if you're just doing the interval training alone, you really need to go through that entire warm-up at the start. And what we're going to do a little bit different is we're really going to move a little bit faster. So it's, you know, jumping jacks and some leg swings and that type of stuff. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with jumping jacks as our warm-up first exercise. Okay, so we're getting a real quick dynamic warm-up here. So probably go 20 to 30 repetitions in that exercise. Next one I like to do is a prisoner lunge, just because it's going to stretch that hip flexor area, which is going to get quite a bit of work if you're doing running intervals. So make sure your elbows are back. We're not going to do a lot of warm-up for the upper body, but we're going to do a little bit, just because interval training when you're running and sprinting really is a total body exercise. So probably about 6 to 10 repetitions there. The next thing I want to do is warm up the, we'll do a bodyweight squat next, and then we're going to go down to the ground and warm up the groin a little bit. So we can just do bodyweight squat with a little narrower stance than a prisoner squat. And this is really getting everything in our lower body, really generally, with our quadriceps and glutes and hamstrings working here. Okay, so we've done our jumping jacks, our lunges, prisoner squats. Now I want to go down to the ground and warm up the groin with our Spider-Man climb exercise. So just get a nice, we're getting a stretch through here. Again, if you're a beginner, you're not going to go through that full range of motion. You'll just go up to here and get a stretch and alternate sides. But if possible, you want to get a nice range of motion. Just get a nice little stretch there and then back. Now to continue on with the theme of warming up our groin, we'll do something like a duck under, where you're stepping side to side, or we might even just do the side step exercise. And again, that warms up the groin. Now we've done quite a bit of stuff. Now we're able to go over and do some leg swings to warm up the hamstring. So instead of doing static stretching, we'll do some dynamic leg swings. Because if you're going to do interval training and sprinting on flat ground, you really have to make sure your hamstrings are warmed up. And we'll talk about ways to do interval training with less stress on your hamstrings as well. So I only did a few reps there, but do like 15 to 20 repetitions of that to fully prepare your hamstrings for the sprinting. Now you might also want to do some push-ups, some arm crosses, just to warm up the upper back. You know, because when you're going to be doing your sprinting, your arms are going to be doing a lot of pumping. So arm crosses, regular push-ups, or if you want to get Spider-Man push-up in there. Again, that's a little more specific to what we're going to do. And now maybe we'll get into some running in place, high knees. And I think now we're ready to take a little rest and go through that circuit one more time. And that's a really good warm-up for interval training for more of our advanced individuals. So now what we're going to do is get into our beginner training. So beginners can use as much of that warm-up as possible, but now we're going to get into some beginner considerations for warm-up and for training.